Check Game Podcast.
New episode of Check Game.
Another episode of Check Game Podcast.
So welcome back to Check Game.
Welcome back to Check Game Podcast.
All right, welcome back to Check Game.
Welcome back to Check Game.
Yo, welcome back to Check Game.
Welcome back to Check Game.
Hey, yo, welcome back to Check Game, man. I'm here with your boy Alvin Williams.
Got an opportunity to share a game. It's called Check Game.
Welcome back to Check Game Podcast, yo. I'm here with your boy Alvin Williams.
And with your boy Fats.
And this,
What's up, cuz?
What's up, cuz? Nice to see you, man. You just had some games on the road and been away for a while, so it's been a minute since we talked, man. How you been? Everything's love?
I wish I was where you was at. You got the short sleeves on, dog. This thing vicious over here in Philly, man. Out here, dog. It's this snow. I go from there to Toronto, man. This snow is crazy, dog. It's crazy.
Yeah, the weather is nice here. I gotta admit that. But we wanted to talk about almost a recap of what we did with Rick Brunson and kind of get into the father-son aspect of coaching. You got a son that plays sports. The emotion that's involved, like Rick told him, Rick had to tell Jalen one time to sit down, and Jalen snapped on him. So I thought that was real important that he shared all of those emotions between the father and the son, being his coach, still handling him as a father, but still accepting him as a max player on the court. You know, like, hey, all right, this is Jalen's world. So that was nice for him to share all of that inside information of what it's like coaching. He also said that he let other people work his son out. It wasn't just an in-house thing where he kept him to himself. And he just, like you said, Alvin Williams might show him something. Fats might show him something. So I like that aspect of that. It was just good to hear him talk to us about him and how proud he was of his son. So that father-son relationship, it was nice to see that in that light of brightness of like, damn, there was some tough love there. And look at them today. They're on the same team. His father, one of his coaches. So that was nice. What'd you get out of that, Al?
Nah, it's deep because it's funny, man. I was just in Toronto and the Raptors played the Knicks and the Knicks ended up winning that game. But I got to see Rick right after the interview. I got to see Jalen and like Rick. I said, "Damn, dog, I ain't know you were so popular." I don't know if it's the Brunson name and but a lot of people, even on the staff, some of the New York people that was there at the arena, they recognized the interview. They recognized that we got a lot of good, positive feedback, and I think that comes from the authenticity. Right? It's just he was real, he was open, and that's just Rick. Like know that aspect of Rick, and the aspect of the nature of everything, and it got to be challenging for any father, any parent coaching their kid and watching. And to get to that level of an NBA level, that's the challenge because you hear so much. I take the sport of boxing. I mean, the young fighters, they had their fathers as trainers, and I hear about the Roy Jones story, the Floyd Mayweather stories, and so many stories. But you hear that, when you grow up, you're not the same kid, that you were training and you were managing and you were just, you were raising. And then you're a grown man, you can't treat them the same way. And it was cool and it was interesting to hear when Rick said that Jalen snapped on him. We all yelled at the coach, all got mad at our coach. Dad, I'm not looking at you as a dad right now. You the coach. You telling me what to do. I got it locked down. I know what I'm doing. So it's a challenge, man. But the other thing too, man, as a parent to be in that position, you got to be really secure. Because if you're going to allow other people to coach your kid and manage your kid and train and teach your kid, because as well as I know, a lot of coaching, it comes with information outside of basketball. There's an intimate relationship that can go on with a coach and a player because they understand it. They can give you some guidance. They can console you. They can help you. So when you have somebody like that, when you have a coach that has those capabilities, you got to be careful because I've been in situations where some parents have asked me to talk to their kids, and my message is totally different than what their message is. So you might not want to hear me. You might not. I might take you off the route that you're trying to go on. So it was cool to hear Rick say that, man. It was. I think a lot of people could get a little gain from that, get a little advice from that, and just some guidance when it comes to that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to have him here, right? And like you said, that coach piece of like the extension of a father and a son. Me and Ellaby had a relationship similar of like he wasn't my dad, but it was well respected. I listened to him, you know what I mean? I didn't have a problem taking his orders, you know what I mean, or what he demanded of me on the court. So that part of the deal can be stressful through a relationship, father-son type deal where father's trying to tell you right, and you as a kid, like you said, you no longer that young boy anymore. You became a man, and that air sometimes can be tone deaf. You get tired of hearing the same person. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Your
yeah,
dad trying to tell you versus the coach, and it's cool that worked out for them too. And Jalen is doing his thing now, and clearly Rick has some effect because me and you know Rick off the court. We know Rick personally, and we know him on the court. We know how hard he
right.
play on the court. You know, it's tough to keep an NBA job. Rick kept an NBA job for 9 years, and that's applauded, man, because he didn't have a guaranteed or a 5-year deal or 10. He didn't get like a deal like that. So
Yeah, yeah.
that drive in him, it seems to overlay right into Jalen. And Jalen is the max player, but he still got that engine and that drive like Rick. So it was nice that he shared that with us, and Jalen is in the position he in. Um,
Yeah,
what do you
and
think?
too, Rick. I mean, facts. Jalen got the utmost respect for his dad.
Mm,
I've never seen anything waver. I've never seen anything, and that's a testament to not just Jalen. I think that's how it's supposed to be. But I think when people get confused is when they combine the coach and the parent. You're a parent first, man. At the end of the day, you're a parent first. And that would be my advice to anybody because there's so many times as an athlete, as a young person growing up in this world, you need sound advice. And you need a shoulder to lean on. You need a hug, you need tough love, you need so many other things that only a parent can give you when they're in that spot, in that position. And I think when sometimes these parents they fall into a trap of wanting to console and wanting to do everything for the kids so their route will be much easier. So they don't have to go through the struggles and they don't have to go through some of these things. Or some of them might not even have the tools to help a kid to get through certain situations. Because the higher levels you go, the more of the business comes in a part, the more of the other things come in. And as a parent, if you can gather as much information that can help a kid through that or help a young adult through that, that's the most valuable thing to me because that's the everlasting relationship. I can come to you for basketball, football. I can come to you for if I'm a newborn parent. I can come to you for raising a kid. I can come to you for job advice, career advice. I want to be able to come to you for everything, not
mhm,
just what
mhm,
we had this moment. Because you and I both know for it did for us, basketball, the sport is going to end at some point, but our
mhm.
relationship should not end once this thing goes a different route or a different
Mhm.
direction.
I got a question for you, Al, because um, Rick mentioned your father. Also, every other guest we had mentioned your father.
Yep.
Um, your father is a basketball guy. He was at my games. He was a real class act gentleman. What was that like with you and him? Was there ever any of that friction with you and him? You told us about your decision with Temple, and you didn't share that with your father, and you made your own decision. But you having a father that's present in your life, walking the walk with you, what was his advice like? Was it stressful? What's that like walking with your dad through your process when you had your turn of going through it? Where was your dad at on the side of you? How did that work out, Al?
Just support. It was support. Only time it was a few times when my dad would stress a few things, and like if I was sleeping a little too late, and he said, lover boy must have had a long night last night." Like he would throw little shots like that. As you know, my papa ain't say much. Like,
Hmm.
Dad, who won the game today? If you cared, you would have watched it and leave. He wouldn't have much. So he was just like that. But it was a few times where I remember when I was playing ball, right? And I couldn't shoot. But I started,
Hmm.
it's like 10th, 11th grade. He's like,
Hmm.
yo, you need to go start working on your jump shot. I got somebody to help you work on your jump shot with you. I said, who? I might have been like in ninth or 10th grade. I was like, who? He said, T. Parham. T. Parham, he would score 100 points with no 3-point line. Like he was bad. And he said, man, he catch that ball and shoot it. And I was like, yo, how'd he shoot? He had two hand. I said, no, Dad. I'm not working. No disrespect to Mr. Parham. And come to find out, T. Parham's a legend. He used to be down in Sunny Hill. He had the white
Hmm.
tee on,
Hmm.
sit in the
Hmm.
corner,
Hmm.
non-descriptive, just the man, like a Philadelphian historian. Shout out to Joe Parham, my OG, who also can
Hmm.
shoot.
Shout out to
You know
Joe.
all the guys.
Hmm.
So, like, but my dad, that's the one time my dad was like, you know what? You should go do this. And I
Hmm.
pushed away. And then the
Hmm.
other time was I might have been like 13 or 14, and he was talking about going down John Arnett's. John Arnett had told my pop, was like, yo, bring him down to workouts. and I wanted to stay up around my way and play with my friends. I ain't want to go down there, but my dad would try to get me. And then, you know what? It grew. I like, all right, let me go down there. I felt more confident. I felt more comfortable. And that's why it's funny. I look at my son now, and in any new environment, he's so timid. He's timid. Like around his family, friend, he's a whole different character. But I took him down to Sheed. She had his clinic down at Gratz 3 years ago. And my son went to the Villanova camp, had the time of his life, suburban Villanova on the campus. I take him down Gratz. Man, he loses his goddamn mind, dog. He lost his mind. I said, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" But I think back, and I'm not gonna sit here in front like I was the toughest. I used to be timid in new environments. And I just was more scared of my pop. Like, I can't disappoint my pop. He would never say nothing, but I'ma go anywhere and play. Where he take me down there, Imma play. But a lot of my characteristics, my son's characteristics come from me. I had to grow the confidence. I had to learn. I know step by step, you'll ultimately get there. So a lot of those things came from my pop, man, his patience, but also just his biggest thing, he provided resources. If I wanted to do something, he provided the resource, and he would stretch uh, the wide as he can do it to make sure I had an opportunity to do it. So that was pretty much his role. And again, I talk a lot about my mom, my pop, but my mom was there too. If my pop would kind of like go off track a little bit, my mom would definitely be there. Like, nah, Alvin, that's not what it is. And then things would get back in place.
So that's pretty cool to hear that. I mean, because I know him, but you're right. He don't say too much words. Even if I played good somewhere, he'd be like, "Nice job, nice game, Fats." And so it's cool that you had that experience with a father walking you through, and he wasn't so hands on as a Rick Brunson was so hands on. He kind of let you go out and get your own hunger for the game. And I think, like me or any parent or anybody with basketball game that want to teach a kid, the person with the knowledge, he got to see the hunger in the child. I can't give you game and force you to be well. You got to be working on getting well, and I just can help you better what you getting better at.
Yeah.
But it's hard to try to direct a kid that don't want to be good. You know what I mean? If he ain't got the energy or the effort or the commitment, all of these things out. You got to get up and work. And me, when I got to watch you work versus me, I did a lot of playing. I didn't really have so much knowledge of what workouts was until I really got with you to repeat the same shot over, to do the same. Some of the things I didn't learn, I was just kind of from the hood, and I just knew I was tall, I was fast, I could handle, I could dunk. And so I kind of picked it up kind of quick. But skills, that's when I kind of got around you, and you had commitment as far as going 3 times a day, no matter what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like, Fats, you want to shoot? All right, I'll not today, maybe tomorrow. You went 3 times a day. So when I say about like the child having a commitment, that's that engine that's got to be there. Like, yo, I want to get better. What can I do to get better? And then if that engine is ready, then it seems like it works out for the parent and the child instead of the other way around of, oh, I'm trying to get this guy to be good and he lazy. It can't work like that. You know what I mean? Now there's a stress in the house. You mad at your son over a sport. We talked about that in one of our episodes too. And I really don't like that part of the game. But if the kid's showing me, all right, yo, Fast, I'm ready. I've been out here, 60 days every day working on my shot. Then I feel like, all right, you ready to be nice, and it'll encourage me or any father or any person with game to invest that time and energy to a child. So from my seat, it just makes a lot of sense when the child has the engine. You understand what I'm saying to you with that?
Yeah, no, for sure. No, for sure. And that's the decide. That's like the deciding factor. When you got that dog, like you see, like, oh, I got something here. And now you start seeing people put a little bit more time invested. Okay, I got something. But I also think people got to also realize in this microwave society, and I know we get redundant with it, but it's so much. This microwave society, everybody think everybody's supposed to be good right away, dog. Like it's amazing to me. You talk to some of these coaches and you talk to some of these people and be like, hey man, I got a 9-year-old son, 10-year-old son. You think he could play on your team or whatever, or come out? Is he good? What you mean, is he like? So you're not gonna work with him if he ain't good, huh? So he ain't got no chance. If he ain't good at 10, he ain't got no chance to work with your team. And the business of the sports is trickling down to the youth sports so much right now. It's just amazing where I hear like some of these parents, some of these coaches, they don't give a kid a shot. Like, you're going to develop. I don't want my son or daughters to be the best version of themselves at 9,
At
10 years
13.
old.
Yeah.
Like,
What the
come
hell
on,
is
dog.
that?
Like, I need them to learn. But
Right.
when you talk about basketball playing, when you play so much, and that's all we did was play, you
Mhm.
learn the instincts. The game is never the same. It's always different moments. So you start learning your instincts. Your spider senses start to pick up, which
Mhm.
is important. That's no
Mhm.
doubt. That's one of the most important things. But then when you start improving and increasing and playing at different levels, now you got to make sure you're efficient and your skill level is sharp. Like,
Mhm.
we don't always have to play, but now I need to make sure my skill level is sharp. So that's why we got to make 100 shots from the corner. We got to make 100 shots from the wing. We got to make
Mhm.
100 shots from
Mhm.
the slot. 100. We got to go around this thing and make 700 shots, right? Just step in shots. Then we go off the dribble. Now we in the gym for like 45 minutes, 100. Hour.
Mhm.
And now we working on skills, like skills. So the older you get, you want to always sharpen it. So it's a fine balance with that. But I think again, when you talk about the parent and the child or the young adult, gotta realize, man, it's a process to greatness. Nobody's just waking up out the bed, getting out and say, yo, I'm great. It doesn't
Mhm.
happen like that. So you gotta have patience. And as a parent, you gotta have and try to exercise all the resources that you can to help your kid to get there. No matter if they want to get a doctorate degree, no matter if they want to get a law degree, no matter if they want to be a veterinarian, a barber, a plumber, a police, whatever. Like, you gotta have the same energy no matter what. But this is crazy with sports these days, dog. I tell you this, Fats. I think when people ask me, "Yo, did your kids play?" And I'm like, "Nah." They look at you crazy, like you said. My kid just shot 12 people the other day. Like, no, my kid just don't play sports. It's all right. It's all right not to play sports, yo. My
Right,
kid
right.
might like art. He might like dance. He might
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
construction. He might like whatever music. He don't gotta play sports, but people in
Right.
society today think that everybody's supposed to play sports because everybody gonna be a pro. Hell no.
Mm-mm.
Hell no,
Mm-mm.
dog.
It don't work like
Life
that.
is so much more life to this thing than
Mhm.
just that sport or just
Mhm.
that process of sports, man. And I know we can go on and on, but it's amazing how times have changed from the time where they would tell us, if we said we're gonna go to the NBA, no, you're not.
Mhm.
Go get education. That was the first thing they'd tell us. No, no,
Yeah,
you're not.
you're
Yeah,
not making it
you
to
ain't
the
going to the NBA.
no. So speaking on kids, I happened to go to a game recently, and the kid made about 2 or 3 threes in the game. And after the end of the game, his pop came up, said what's up to me, and he said to me, "My kid is the next Steph Curry, right?" And it was just deflating because the kid don't know what kind of work it goes into being a Steph Curry, dog. Like, it was so disrespectful for you to tell me this 13, 14-year-old kid that made 2 threes or 3 threes against 14-year-old kids is the next step. Like, the work that got to go into being that well is what a child need to understand. If that's what he's going to achieve, I'm not telling you he can't achieve that, but there's no way in hell after Steph Curry just said on TV, some days he makes sure he make 1,000 shots before he leave. Make, not shoot. When you think about the work, the kid don't, you know what I mean? So it was just stressed out that the kid had a good game, but the father in his head is saying he the next. It don't work like that, man. You got so much more work, so much more years to go before you even start mentioning him like that. And I don't like that. Like you said, this microwave society of my son is not going to be the best at 13. He's not going to be the best version of himself when he's a child. So I like that you addressed that in this conversation because it seems like parents are doing that. Parents are, I guess you're rooting for your child. I'm not against it, but I think I'd display some talk to you about me at a child, my son's game, and it just gave me so much emotion. I just couldn't deal with it
Yeah,
because
it's tough.
I didn't like it. I don't know. I got emotion towards the coach if he don't play him. I got emotion towards the referee if he do something like if the other team hit him a little hard or foul him a different. Like it's too much emotion if you lose the game, and then what do you? It's just too much emotion from a parent. And now that I'm over at my basketball days, I really appreciated how my family handled me with basketball. Like they didn't give a fuck about it. And then like, all right, you had 30, cool. If they came to a game, maybe, you know what I mean? Good. But there was not no pressure to perform from my family in any game ever. If I had 30, 40 points, they didn't give a fuck. And if I had 2 points, they didn't give a fuck. They didn't even ask me, did you have a good game? They just like, what's next? You know what I mean? So that helped me far as not having that pressure of I got to not let my dad down. I got to not let my mom down. You know what I mean? I didn't have that. It was like, you go play ball, see you when you get back. So I just don't like that pressure from a parent to say, hey, my child is good right now. Like you said, well, slow down a little bit, daddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
it's funny because these people, my son's the next Steph Curry. But you're looking at one aspect. Is your son, are you teaching your son, if you were to get as big as Steph Curry, you gonna sign every autograph? You gonna, I don't watch Steph after games, talk to, win or lose, bad game or good game, sit there and talk to people, different groups of people. They have different partnerships that want to meet certain people. They pay for sponsorship. They people that's fans, family. After games, you gonna be that part. You're gonna be the father who probably can't see his kids right after the game because you're traveling a lot, or you're going to be the husband or whatever. It's not just the jump shooting. And I tell people, I say, if you're in a situation, and I used to use a specific person, but I won't do it anymore out of respect. If somebody told you you could be the next one of the best basketball players in the world, in the history of the sport, but during that journey, you fall out of relationships with your parents, you fall out of relationships with your siblings. You really don't have a friend base. You have all of these things going on in your world that is not connected to you being the best player ever. Are you willing to sacrifice all of those things? Because it's a lonely place. So when people have a kid and say, yo, he's a pro. No, man, stop saying that, because a pro is just not basketball. A pro is going in every day, the days you don't want to go in, the days you have to go in. And I said, pros don't turn off. You're a pro when you wake up, you're a pro before you go to bed. You're a pro when you go to the Wawa, you're a pro when you go to the restaurant, you're a pro when you go get gas, because if anything was to happen, your whole job is in jeopardy. And never put that on anybody, but you got to conduct yourself as a pro. It ain't just playing. So when you walk outside of this gym and you have 55 points, you got a flat tire. Can you fix it? Can you get help? Can you get your family home safe? Can you make sure if somebody's on your nerves or whatever case, you know how to control your emotions and you deal with things accordingly? Or we put so much focus on the aspect of performing that I ain't teach you how to be a true pro. So that's helped me with my kid. And he's young. He's still figuring things out, of course. But everything through the game, whether the emotion part, and you're 100% right, I use everything as a teaching moment. You foul out. You get chumped. You don't play well. My son, he in the habit now. When he get hurt, take me out. I'm hurt. I'm like, yo, dog, you can't take yourself out when you hurt, dog. You play through it. Like, pain is temporary, dog. But I'm learning all those things, but I'm just like you. So I'm not overly critical because I'm starting to have more of an understanding. It's very hard, dog, to watch your kid out there perform, and you really don't have no control. So all the guys that are in that position, my hat goes out to you, because I know it's challenging, man. That's your loved one. That's your loved one. That's your heart. That's your blood. And you want the best for them no matter what. So it's just how you find that balance when it comes to that. And I always say, man, you simplify it. Be a parent first. Be a parent first. Good game, bad game. Talk them through it. Help them through it. Walk them through it.
I like that you talked about the professional aspect of it, because me being with you, right, having a front row seat, hanging with you as a pro and watching you off the court, and if anybody that knows me, they know I'm going out. You know what I mean? and there's plenty of nights that you just said, Fast, you know what? I'll just see you later. And I always thought highly of that, because you gave me the car, the money, and everything to go do it, and you're like, yo, I'm taking care of my business, Fast. And that affected me in life too. You know what I mean? Some nights I go home early because of the way I see you structure things. But when you mentioned being a pro off the court, that's another tough responsibility. And me and you know, between me and you, like, we had an agreement, or you knew how I felt about your situation in Toronto, that I just wanted to make sure I kept it tight. I didn't want to mess nothing up with us. And I wanted to keep it professional with you, like you was doing with me. And you was also showing me and teaching me how to be on time, and how to, like, certain things you just showed that you wouldn't fuck around with. And it just showed that part of being a pro, not just on the court. You've done so many things outside of basketball before we even got to the arena that was professional. When we get to restaurants, whether you had a bad game or a good game, fans want to say, hi, Alvin, man, take a picture. The restaurant might want to. So the emotion of you having a bad game or having a good game, clearly you would behave a different way in the restaurant if you had a good game. But if you had a bad game, you still got to take a picture, sign an autograph, say hi, whatever the deal was. But that's what I'm speaking to you about, being professional outside of the basketball court. And I've watched you be able to do that. And all the way up to the day and you being an analysis for the Raptors, the way you conduct yourself is very professional. And you know, I got love for that. So when you mention that, it's good for any viewer or any of the audience that's watching, like, for the kid, conduct, the way you conduct yourself, the way you represent your family, the way you perform in front of people, not just on the court. People have an opinion of you off the court. I don't want to say the two guys' name, but I remember you told me during the draft there was player A and player B. And player B was probably better than player A. But because player A conducted himself away, he dressed away, he looked away, they went with that instead of this other guy. So conduct and presentation is part of being professional just as much as being on the court is. I just wanted to touch on that since you mentioned that, about how professional I watch you perform off the court, outside of the basketball. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that was maturity as well, upbringing, but going to college for 4 years, and it was a standard set by Villanova, and our coach, Steve Lapis, and just that environment. So we always had standards. Although we was in college, there was standards, how you conducted yourself, how you showed up in class, go to class every day. You ain't skipping class. You're showing respect to the professors. You're showing respect to this program, and that was there. So that was big, and was nothing more important to me than basketball. So I wasn't going to do anything to mess that up. And I knew the easy part was the respect, the professionalism, the being on time, the courtesy for your teammates. Like, that was never a problem, because even our upbringing, whether it was Sunny Hill League, whether it's Total Response, playing with Cal Lewis or John Arnett, Rodney Handy, my high school coach, Coach Finnerty, all of these guys, it was similar, because that was the upbringing. That was the expectation. That was the standard. It wasn't no hopping the team. It wasn't no, I'm not going to show up to practice. I was just looking at something today when they're talking about the Colorado Buffaloes, Deion Sanders. He's fining players now because they missing practice. How the hell, as a college person, you got goals and you missing practice, dog? Like, how does that happen? So the mentality is totally different, and things have to change over time. But the professionalism that's there, and that's one thing. And I go back to my son and my kids. When I do get a chance, and they do have the opportunity to meet a pro, for instance, getting little Al a jersey signed by LeBron James. Strive for greatness, King, or strive for greatness, Al, from the King. And it means so much coming from him, but him just to be able to get that message. When he saw Vince Carter, he didn't know nothing about Vince Carter. He wasn't born, but he got to meet Vince Carter and saw Vince Carter get his jersey retired. Not see him shoot a jump shot or dunk the ball like we all did, but he saw how he conducted himself, how much love he got because of a certain thing that he presented himself. He's get to be around Kyle Lowry all the time. He shows a true professional, to get around, be around his family and hang out with them. I took him to go see DeMar DeRozan, not to go play a game. DeMar DeRozan had a book signing in New York. We get on the train and go to the NBA store, and he meet DeMar DeRozan for 5 minutes. We took the train and went back, had a little dinner, and I want you to see that aspect of it. These are good people. You got to meet Steph Curry. Steph Curry showed them love, not just playing. These are good people. So that's really important to me, because, again, when you can't play no more, a lot of love and a lot of those things, they go away, you know. And now a lot of people, they get lost, and now they feel a value is lost, and then they try to do anything for attention. They try to do anything to get that taste of fame back. What Jay-Z say, that's the worst drug known to man. That fame, dog. Like, it's just something. But I try to always put them in place where they're meeting good people, and people that's more than just athletes in my mind, and I got a chance to build relationships with. So it's dope, and that's kind of approach that I take. Now, if this boy grow to be about 6'6", I mean, I need a little Kyrie Irving handles, and I need a little Steph jump shot. Of course, you put some energy into that, but the more important thing is the actual human being, man. The human being is what it's all about, Fast. You know, ain't nobody want to be around us if he wasn't good people. You know what I mean? Because what you can do, that runs out, or somebody else next can do it better, and they on to the next. So
That's
being a good
important.
person,
That's
man.
important. I'm glad you're saying that to our audience, and definitely for a parent with a child who's into sports. Conduct, and behavior, and relationships, the
Yeah.
way you represent yourself, present yourself, because you've established a lot of relationships during your playing years, and it's ran into the course of after your playing years. So
Yeah.
being a good person has helped you along your course during basketball and even after the basketball. So it's like you said, making sure your kid understand the value of just being a solid, good person to people is going to help you along with being a great athlete or sports or whatever you into as a child.
Yeah.
The basis of it is make sure that you being a good person is intact before uh, the sport, because you're gonna run across a lot of people, and the last thing you want is them to be saying you're an asshole, or because you're talented and he an asshole though. He don't listen. He don't So that's the last thing you want on the kid. So I wanted to share that with our audience this
Yeah.
week. We didn't want to do too much.
Yeah, not too much. My fault, Fast, but we gonna let him go. I'm gonna let you go. You got some things going on. You got something to do.
No, I thought you said
All
30
right,
minutes today. I didn't
yeah,
know. Go ahead.
30 minutes. We had 31.
All
But
right.
it's like you said, the network, and stress that, man. Your net worth, and we heard Reggie Wilkes talk about that with the financial piece. Your net worth is your network. And the people, I remember when I retired, man, and just trying to figure things out. And, I going to Germantown Academy, I met with and started throwing ideas around with a former classmate of mine, this guy by the name of Mike Marino. That was in the financial world. We started thinking about doing some things, putting some things together. And never came to fruition. But, being friends in high school and being able to connect with him and, you know what I mean, offering a hand, just let's try to do something together. And then there's another guy by the name of Ryan Gonen, and he's out of New York as well. And he was a big basketball fan. He had me up there playing at some club, Equinox, had me up there getting my boots waxed. I'm like, Ron, this is not the same high school dude, man. I'm old, man. But just for him to take time, we eat dinner, dog. He would give me suggestions on certain things and industries that I wanted to pursue. And me just taking off that shield and just showing I'm vulnerable enough to get some information, to ask for help, to ask for some guidance. And like those things meant so much to me. I didn't see it right away. And that's what I'm talking about, the microwave effect. I didn't see it in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th when I'm playing college. It took me to be about 40 years old and be like, hey, man, this network that you built, and I think it all came from, not from being a good basketball player, but being in a certain place and being a good person.
Being a
You
good
know what I
person.
mean?
Yeah.
Being a good person, dog. We
Yeah.
know so many people that's talented, they do things well, but they're just not really good people, or they haven't treated people during that journey accordingly. And now, where they at? I mean, where they at, and how are people treating you now once it's all said and done? So it's important for, like, I think all these young people to realize that human aspect is key, man. It's key. Not just the sports, and I would urge all the parents to dive deeper into that, even more than the actual skill level. Make
Right.
sure, because if you're not ready to consume everything that come with it, it could be a bumpy ride.
And it could cause friction in the family. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
I done seen a bunch of that with the sport of the parent being a little too aggressive on the child, and
Yeah.
it could almost ruin the family and ruin a relationship where father like, well, get out, get out my house. You don't want to listen to me. It's like,
Yeah.
damn, over sports, so, you know what I mean? Like, but I've seen those kind of relationships, and I really disagree, and I hate when I see that from a father on a child to put his athletic ability and value versus his home. You know what I mean? Like if you don't perform this way when you get home, there's some backlash or some jargon you don't really want to hear. Where again, I told you when I got home, nobody gave take the trash out. There's a plate in the microwave. So it can stress the relationship. But again, I'm glad you stressed that to our viewers about the importance of being a good person. And like you said, being a good person will help you create a network. And that network will help you get some net worth. You know what I mean? So That's important that we shared that with our viewers. Is there anything you want to get out before we shut this down, Alvin?
Again, thanking Rick and him just sharing time with us, man, sharing some game. He's a close friend of ours, so it was seamless, the conversation, but it was good. We got a lot of good feedback. I think a lot of people got some good information from it as well. So it was a fun interview. I got a couple of my buddies, man, that played in the league as well, calling me saying it was a dope interview. So we're gonna have more. We're gonna have more coming up. So just stay tuned with that, man. But always just our opinions and things that we've experienced through life that we like to share.
No doubt, man. Us here at Check Game, man, we appreciate any of the support y'all show us, any of the likes, any of the comments. We digging it, man. We appreciate everything y'all doing for us out there. And
I'm gonna get my sisters on this, John, too.
Hey,
man,
get
my sisters. They're gonna give me some real spill.
Man. You said that.
Get my sisters on that.
So thank y'all for y'all time today. This is us at Check Game. I'm closing out with your boy Al, and we can catch y'all next week. We have a new guest next week for sure. And thank you for all the support again, man. Thank you, Rick Brunson, for the love, man. That was big time. You came through for us effortlessly. You didn't pump fake or hesitate on us. You came right through. So thanks for that, Rick. That's love, man. All right, that's game right there.